Hi everyone, Meredith here, and in this video we're going to talk more about the exciting world of citations. What we're looking at here is a really nice works cited page that a student created. Just some of the features of this. It is the final page of the student's assignment, so that is reflected in the page number. If you need help making page numbers, you can go to the MLA formatting video from the Cincinnati State Writing Center that we have available on our Blackboard course. And notice that there is this additional title when we start a works cited page. Now, this one says work cited because it is only one work. When we have multiple works, then we add that S to show that we are citing plural, multiple works, all right? And also just kind of another formatting note is that with citations, we use what is called a hanging or reverse indent. And so that first line sticks out and all of our subsequent lines are indented. And that's really useful to a reader who is looking at your parenthetical references or citations within the text of your paper, and they're trying to match those up to the citations on your works cited page. If you have your paper set up so that there are no spaces between paragraphs of the same style and that your lines are double spaced, to achieve that look, you just hit enter and then the tab key. So let's talk about what's going on in this actual citation. This citation is a citation for your textbook, and it is specifically a citation for a short story from your textbook. It's probably the citation you're going to use the most in this class. Students who are writing response papers are probably going to have something like a works cited where they're just talking about one story. They're not using other secondary sources or information from the class, and so they're just going to cite the story. So you'll see this in most of the assignments for this class. And the citation for a short story starts with the author of the short story's last name, followed by his, her, their first name. Then we've got this period here. That period really helps the reader to differentiate between multiple authors, pieces of information in that sentence. We also already have a comma in here. You'll notice that a lot of our publication information is separated out by commas, but we already have a comma because we're using the author's first or last name first. After the author's name, we have the title of the story in quotation marks, and you'll notice too that that piece of information is set off by a period. Whenever we are using the titles of short stories, they always appear in quotation marks. That's whether we're talking about the title within the response paper itself, or even if you want to refer to the title in your discussion board, it should appear in those quotation marks to denote that it is the title of a short story. Followed by the title of our short story is the title of the container, and the container of the short stories is the textbook, the Seagull Book of Stories. Because it is a container, because it is a large work, we denote that by using italics. Now, I haven't seen anyone in this class doing this, but if you were handwriting something, you would use underlining. Since we're all using word processing programs, italics is the way to go. Followed by the title of the container, we have other contributors. So we have that this textbook was edited by Joseph Kelly. Now that's important to tell readers because the way that an editor organizes the stories, prefaces the stories, sometimes influences our reading of the stories. So we want to tell our reader, anyone interested in using this source, that some of our ideas may be influenced by Joseph Kelly. Followed by Joseph Kelly, we have the 4th edition of the textbook. That means that, yes, that Joseph Kelly has made some changes to this textbook. He's republished it 4 times. He's trying to make it better, maybe adding new information, history that we have just found out about these authors. This type of information is also really helpful for readers who are trying to find the exact same sources that we are using, because Joseph Kelly in these subsequent editions maybe added some new stories, some new histories, experiences, and so maybe even a story that you're referencing from this textbook, this edition of the textbook, isn't in an earlier edition. Similarly, the publishing company helps readers find that exact same source. You can talk about the publishing company of this book as W.W. Norton, or you can have that "and" company at the end if that makes you feel a little bit better about giving them credit. We want to know who published the textbook. After the publisher information, we have the date of publication of the textbook. Now, a lot of people are really tempted to put the date of publication for the short stories, but we want to put the publication date for the textbook itself, because again, the ideas, the way that we're reading these are going to be influenced by Joseph Kelly, this edition, and the date of publication of the book, the textbook itself, not necessarily the short story. Followed by the publication date of the textbook, we have this PP, which denotes multiple pages. You use a single P to show that a short story is only on one page. And then we have the range that encompasses that short story. Now, MLA says you can drop numbers if you're not a numbers person. Obviously, if this story starts on 480, it continues on to 489. We don't sort of reverse numbers. You could also, if you really wanted to, drop the other 8 here and just have 480 to 9, which would tell your reader that it goes from page 480 to 489. It's the same piece of information. You could also add the 4 in here if that makes more sense to you. Again, it's just trying to give your reader the information that says, hey, look, this is the inclusive page numbers. Notice that after the title of the short story, all of this kind of publication information that, again, is really useful for helping my reader find the exact same source is separated by a comma. But then when I get to the end of the citation, I close it with a period. And that period at the end of the citation is really working like the period at the end of the sentence. It's saying, here's all the information that you need to have about this source in order to find this exact same source. And so I'm going to end it and close it with the period. Now, if I'm thinking about what those parenthetical references, citations, those citations that are internal in the text of my essay would look like for a works cited page like this, they wouldn't need to include the author's last name because I'm only using one source in my essay. So all they would need to have inside those parentheses is just the page number. I don't even need the abbreviation P for page because your reader is going to know that it's the page numbers from this source. And so I might have in my parentheses 480, and that's it. And again, keep in mind too, with those parenthetical references, they always go outside of the quotation marks. So you close up your quote if you're using a direct quote. You begin your parentheses, have the page number, close your parentheses, and then that end punctuation goes after the parentheses so that your reader knows that, similar to this end punctuation here, where you're really kind of finishing up that citation, the end punctuation after that parenthetical reference shows your reader that that parenthetical reference goes with that sentence. So here we have an example of a works cited page from a student who maybe needed to get some secondary sources to help themselves figure out how to analyze the story or to do a deeper analysis of the story. Or this is maybe a works cited page that might be something similar to what you will need to have on your major essay or on your final exam. And so the first citation, this first citation is a lecture from our Blackboard course. Now, I am the instructor for the Blackboard course. I created the lectures, and so even though I feel a little bit weird about having my name on your works cited page, you would have my last name followed by my first name, and then you would have the title of the lecture. really similar to having the author, the title of the work that we're looking at. And then the publication information for this gets a little bit different because we're not looking at a textbook, we're looking at the course site. And so then we have the title of the course, which yes, includes your specific course number. And we also, instead of just having these randomized letters and numbers, we also want to tell the reader that this course is called the short story. Followed by that, we want to have who is maintaining that site. That's Cincinnati State. You could write Cincinnati State Technical and Community College, but that's kind of a mouthful, so you can kind of shorten it. And then you will have the link to the lecture on the Blackboard course. Now, this isn't going to be a permalink that other people can open. It's just providing that location information. Maybe if someone does have access to Blackboard, like another student in the course, for example, they could maybe log on and click that link and follow it. After that location information, I want to make sure that I have the date that this was accessed, because I might change course information, I might change lectures for different courses, figure out that we need to talk about different topics, etc. And so you want to tell your reader whenever you're using an electronic source, because those electronic sources are often subject to change. You want to tell your reader when you last accessed it. In this response paper or essay or exam question, the student also used the biographical information at the beginning of the story. So that also needs to get cited. And that starts with, instead of the author's last name, because Alice Walker didn't write her own biographical information, it starts with Joseph Kelly, and we denote him as the editor. And so we have his last name followed by his first name, and then we have that explanation that he's the editor. And then the title of that is usually the author's. I think always in this textbook, it's the author's full name. There's kind of Alice Walker and then that information about her, about the story, before you get to the actual story. And the rest of this information is citing the textbook as we normally would, the title of the textbook, the edition. We don't have to reiterate the editor because we already have him up there. Then we have the publisher, date of publication, and then this biography is only on one page, and so we just have the single P to show that and the page numbers. Similarly, this next citation, the student needed to use some information from the How Do You Read Stories introduction at the beginning of the textbook. You would use this for the biographical sketches if you were looking at those in the back of the textbook. It's just that chapter that kind of explains maybe some of the literary terms, reiterates how to discover theme, etc. And so you might be pulling ideas from there and you'd want to cite that source. And again, you're giving credit to Joseph Kelly as the editor for creating that introduction for you. And then the title of that chapter. The rest of the information about the textbook remains the same. And then we have our page numbers. The final citation on this Works Cited page is the story itself. And notice when I have multiple sources on a Works Cited page, they appear in alphabetical order, not necessarily in the order that they're most used, because I probably should be using this story the most, and not in the order that they appear. If I have multiple sources, they're always in alphabetical order. Now again, my reader is there looking at those parenthetical references or citations that appear internally through the paper, the essay. They're looking for last names and page numbers to be able to find that exact same information. Now this lecture source does not have a page number, so all you would put in that parenthetical reference is the last name. I hope this was a nice overview, and please, I can't stress enough, this is kind of nitpicky, so if you have questions, let me know. We'll work through it. We'll get these Works Cited citations figured out.